Hello everybody, it's Mike here at Game from Scratch with some news on the Unity front. Unity 2019 is upon us. Well, not really, but we're getting closer. Unity 2019.1 alpha release is upon us. So if you want to see what is coming in the next year's version of Unity, the alpha version is out there. Now I do have to throw out a warning right up front. Every time I cover a beta release of Unity, I give you the standard disclaimer, do not use this in a production environment. Well, we're talking about alpha here. Alpha is before beta. This is not expected to work. It just, a lot of times I say, don't use beta in production environment, and you probably could, to be honest. Alpha, this stuff is going to be crashy, so just be aware of that. And alpha is a very early release. And another thing to be aware of right up front, just so they can set some expectations, when Unity 2018.1 was released, it was staggeringly amazing. Like the amount of stuff we got in that release was just unbelievable. We saw entity component system was added, burst compiler was added, C# was brought into the modern era. We got the rendering pipeline. We got all kinds of stuff. It was amazing. Unity basically became a different product starting with 2018.1. With 2019.1, we are getting a shortcut manager. That's about it so far. So don't keep in mind though, this is just mostly Unity being more upfront about what is in their releases. We're seeing their development process much closer. So that means we're going to get a lot less blockbuster releases because we're going to get a lot more incremental access. So a bit of a trade-off. You're not going to have these huge mammoth releases like we saw in the past, but we're going to have more of them and we're going to be more in tune with what is coming down the pipe. Now, one of the things I really hoped to see in 2019.1 that unfortunately isn't there is a tweak towards the UI. There's supposed to be a redesigned UI, and I personally think that the user interface for Unity is starting to get a little ugly, a little long in the tooth, so I am looking forward to an update. I'm glad to see they've recently added high DPI support, but it would be nice to just see a new modern user interface. And I was kind of hoping that was the marquee feature of Unity 2019, and perhaps it still will be, but today we're looking at a little bit less. So what exactly is in the 2019.1 feature? Well, this is from the forum. It's kind of a condensed version. We'll get into the full-blown release notes in a second, but the big thing is a new keyboard shortcut manager. I will actually preview that hands-on in just a sec, so stay tuned. More GPU light mapping functionality, including support for double-sided GI or global illumination flag on material, support for shadow casting and receiving on meshes. Android support for OpenGL ES3.2 support. In graphics, we've got native rendering plugin support for Vulkan. I know a lot of people are looking forward to Vulkan, so there's that. And then physics added a method to determine the closest point to a 2D collider. And really, those are the marquee features. If you want to grab Unity 2019.1 Alpha 7, oh god, that's long to say. You can grab it from the Unity Hub. Specifically, you need to update the Unity Hub. So when I went and looked for it, it wasn't there. I had to grab the most recent version for it to show up. So I am running Unity Hub 1.2.0. You go into the installs, into beta releases. There's no new category for alpha releases, so it's under beta releases. And there it is. Once again, one last time, there's the warning. This is an alpha. Expect crashes. But once you got it, let's go ahead and load it up. And you'll find it looks... Now, actually, that kind of looks a lot like 2018, didn't it? Yeah, it does. And the big new feature here really is this guy right here. Go into Edit, head on down here to Shortcuts. And this is completely new. And it's actually, to be honest, it's a huge quality of life thing. It's one of those things that people are going to find very, very useful, especially if you customize your Unity experience or you want to just look up what the keyboard commands are for any given thing. Here's where you can do it. So basically all of the functionality that is available to be hotkeyed in Unity is shown here on the left by category. And then over here on the right, you have the actual hotkey controlling it. So here we can see, for example, main menu asset create material has no shortcut attached to it. We can double click it and then we can define said shortcut. So I can sit here and I can say, just show me the unassigned keys. And that's not actually doing anything yet. Oh no, unassigned keys, sorry, are the color code there. So I can say here, so material, I can see that this H here is not being used. So now I can come down here and I can say H. And now it is assigned. And you can see it is now a global key, which is probably not what you want. You can change your user profiles up here, or you could create a new one so you can have a different set of shortcut keys as you wished and as you went. So that is definitely some nice new functionality for Unity developers, but it is not going to set the world on fire. But again, alpha release, hopefully we start seeing a whole lot more new functionality in upcoming alphas. So what else is in this release? Well, quite a bit actually, and this looks more like a traditional beta style release note. So here is the alpha homepage, and you'll see it's pretty typical to the betas if you've been downloading betas. Again, you can only get it from the Unity Hub. and again, use the most current version. There are a number of known issues in Unity 2019.1.0A7 as of right now. Gear VR with S7 Adreno-based phones running Android 7 linear color space has driver issues. Suck it up, it won't be fixed. We've got, so what is new here? You kind of, I already showed you the summary, but just to show you, there is a whole lot more going on here. There's stuff in here like, for example, there's now Android notch support. So for you people with notches, yeah, you've got notch support now. Again, this one was probably one of the biggies. So Android ES 3.2 support is out there. I don't remember exactly what was added in 3.2 specifically, but there was, I don't recall, to be honest. But that functionality should now be available. Hopefully some driver tweaks, you see some performance improvements. Also, we covered this, the native rendering support for Vulkan, the shortcut manager that we just saw earlier. Yeah, nothing else really that excited. They added support for Android Pie at the API level. Yeah, so here you see. So I will, of course, link this down below. So if you want to get into the full details of what is in this actual release, we also got release of Package Manager UI 2.1 Preview 1, which supports maximizing and minimizing, which is nice. We got support for saved, maximized in a loadout, keep track of selected built-in packages, keep track of last selected filter, and fixed UI layout. So Package Manager just got a little bit easier to use as well. But as I was just saying a second ago, I will, of course, link these notes down below. So if you're looking to get into the nitty-gritty of what exactly is being added in 2019.1, what is being fixed in 2019.1, and what is currently broken in 2019.1, I will, of course, throw the release notes down below. Now, I don't know if, again, in reading these release notes and the fact that a lot of this is just straight out fixes, I have a feeling we're not going to see a 2018.4 beta. I think this is kind of just an early release of that release. So this isn't really a huge, staggering, update to. I think this is just, I guess we could say, an alpha of a beta release of an incremental improvement. But again, that shortcut manager is definitely a nice improvement. That should make lives nicer. And we've got in the package manager, new UI functionality such as that, so we can maximize this guy out. Kind of a minor thing, but I do think people will definitely find this shortcut manager useful, so it's worth talking about at least. And that's it. I'm done. I am done talking about it. That is Unity 2019.1 Alpha 0A7. So the beginning of what Unity 2019.1 is going to be all about. Again, unfortunately, no major UI changes in there, but an incremental improvement across the board. Now, what do you guys think? Do you like the way that Unity is making these releases much more frequent and much more available? Or did you like the old, 1 or 2 a year huge blockbuster style releases approach? I think obviously I liked this one better, but in terms of reporting news, those big blockbuster releases are a lot more fun to cover, I suppose. Let me know what you think. Comments down below. Are you going to be checking out Unity 2019.1 Alpha, or have you already been bitten enough by betas that you're going to wait till the final release before you even consider checking this stuff out? And are you stoked about that new shortcut manager? Interested in hearing that down below too. All right, that's it for now. Talk to you all later. Goodbye.